Hello, thank you so much for tuning in to Skinformation Academy. My name is Mrs. B. I am lead instructor and director at Skinformation Academy. We definitely would love if you could like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And definitely like and share from our social media networks on Instagram and Facebook. They're both Skinformation Academy. Again, I'm Ms. B. I am an esthetician for over 10 years, and I could definitely say that skincare is my passion. So I'm going to just jump right into it for the first video, and I'm going to share with you the top 10 exfoliation tips. The most important thing is I'm going to start with what exactly exfoliation is. Because in order to understand exfoliation and how to do it properly, we have to fully understand what it is. And an exfoliation is the process of removing dead skin cells from the surface of our skin. And as we think about exfoliation, we have to take in consideration the three main layers of the skin. There are, in fact, more than 3 layers of the skin. However, I'll compile another video about all the layers of the skin, but for today, we'll talk about the main 3. We will begin with the hypodermis that's at the bottom. It's our lowest layer, and it's actually not that much of a layer of skin. It's more of fat cells. They're called adipose cells or adipose tissue. It's also known as our shock absorber layer for our bones. As we move up to the middle layer, that is our dermis. That's actually where capillaries, arteries, blood flow, lots of cellular activity is taking place. In fact, if you ever have an injury and you bleed, you can definitely conclude that you have penetrated down to the dermis. Our top and outermost layer is called the epidermis. It is primarily composed of dead skin cells. And the reason why I started from the bottom is because that's actually how the cells move. They travel from the layers and they travel up. And as they move up through the layers of the skin, they flatten, they lose a lot of their liquid and fluid, and inevitably they turn into dead skin cells. So our epidermis, those dead skin cells, are cells that have traveled through the layers of the skin. All right, so that's number 1. That's exactly what exfoliation is. As the cell travels from the bottom layers up to the top, it dies, and then that cell sloughs off the skin. That is exfoliation. For number 2, we're going to move on to talk about the body's natural process of exfoliation. This was important to me because as we explore exfoliation, we have to understand that the body has its own process actually of exfoliation. And unless you have certain types of skin conditions and disorders, the body can actually carry this function out pretty well. That process is called desquamation. And that's the body's natural process of sloughing off dead skin cells. On an average, it takes about 30 days to do so. And that's the logic behind getting a facial like at least once a month to assist the body with the process of exfoliation. When you are a lot younger, the process is a lot quicker. But just like the natural aging process, as we get older, things deplete and slow down. So as we get older, the body's natural desquamation process does slow down. And that could be a reason why we start to help the body to practice exfoliation. All right, so remember, it is a great step in your regimen to exfoliate, but you don't want to over exfoliate because the body does have its own natural process. All right, so moving on. As we move on to number 3, let's talk about the different types of exfoliation. So you're not so limited about the process. All right, so you do have manual exfoliation, you have mechanical exfoliation, and you have chemical exfoliation. Manual exfoliation we can do with the scrub with our fingers. On the professional end, you could also do the gommage treatment as well. You can have mechanical. exfoliation, where you're using your skin scrubber, your ultrasonic, clarisonic, these different things, and also microdermabrasion, hydrodermabrasion are also mechanical exfoliations. We have chemical exfoliations where you could use things like chemical peels, AHAs, and also BHAs as well as enzymes. It's not only called a chemical exfoliation because we're using chemical peels, but more so because of the way, the process that we're actually exfoliating. And the way that we're exfoliating with chemical peels, AHAs, or enzymes is actually that we're loosening the glue that holds the dead skin cells together. Those dead skin cells that form the epidermis, we also call the shingles or the roof. And they're being held together by what we call desquamation. That's the intercellular glue that holds the dead skin cells together. So when we use AHA enzymes or chemical peels, they can actually dissolve the desquamations, and that's what gets your skin to slough off the dead skin cells faster. Moving on, we are also now going to talk about number 4, and number 4 is the professional exfoliation services. Some professional exfoliation services you can hear about or possibly book are things like microdermabrasion, hydrodermabrasion, dermaplaning, and also chemical peels. A lot of times if you go in for the treatment of hyperpigmentation and those kind of things, these are the type of services that your skincare technician will actually go ahead and book you for. All right. Now, as we keep going, we're here at number 5 now. And now that we understand exactly what exfoliation is, we want to now talk about some of the exfoliation benefits. And some of the exfoliation benefits can also be things like cellular recovery. And what that means is that's actually that process of the skin cell moving up until it's dead. Now, remember, the skin is very intricate and purposeful. So when we do exfoliate or take away dead skin cells, the body wants to send more skin cells up. So that there is the process of cellular recovery. And if that process is faster, of course, we get newer, fresher looking skin. One of the other benefits is a softer, more even texture. Exfoliation does good things for hyperpigmentation if done correctly. It can also enhance nerve stimulation and also skin respiration. As we exfoliate and we clear out the follicle and the pore, the skin is also able to receive oxygen and practice respiration a lot better. Another byproduct and benefit of exfoliation is that we'll get better product penetration. Your barrier won't be as thick, your follicles won't be congested, and you'll be able to receive your serums, your vitamins, and antioxidants a lot better. Number 6 is probably my most favorite skincare topic. And I think it's amongst the top important things we have to know about. From the professionals down to the consumer. The everyday consumer needs to know this about his and her skin. And that's the acid mantle. The acid mantle is actually our skin and our body's first layer of defense. Those dead skin cells that we have been talking about all video, those dead skin cells that we've been talking about removing, they have a function and they have a purpose. Together, they form the acid mantle, along with other things like sweat, sebum, which is oil, and also microflora, which is good bacteria, and other things. In fact, one of the best definitions of acid mantle is a very complex mixture of sweat and oil. And the reason why that's such a great definition is because the acid mantle indeed is very complex in the things that make it up. All right, so as we learn about exfoliation, we know it's important to exfoliate, but we don't want to over exfoliate, because if we over exfoliate, we are now stripping away our acid mantle. As you strip away your acid mantle, you lose a lot of your hydration. So that's why a lot of times when your acid mantle has been stripped, you're dry, you're itchy, you're tight on your skin. Those things are all indications of your acid mantle being stripped away. A compromised acid mantle can also throw your sebaceous glands out of order. So you could either be dry or you can also be extra oily also. So some of my people that are oily and having complaints about overactivity, it's because you're definitely over exfoliating. As we talk about acid mantle, I want to bring up a keyword for you. And in the industry, we call it TEWL, TEWL. That's transepidermal water loss. When you compromise your acid mantle, you are definitely experiencing transepidermal water loss. As we move on to number 7, we are going to talk about actually incorporating enzymes. When you think about exfoliation, you're not just limited to scrubs. A lot of people think that they're really just limited to scrubs. You also are able to incorporate enzymes. Remember, the body responds always its best to natural elements, and enzymes are things that we actually have in our natural skin's makeup. Enzymes dissolve the desquamations. So it could definitely be a very gentle way to exfoliate your skin. Enzymes are going to almost always include ingredients like pineapple, papaya, and pumpkin. Enzyme is actually defined as dissolving keratin properties on the surface of the skin or dissolving larger molecules into smaller molecules. As we move on, we are going now to number 8. Number 8 is about sensitized and compromised skin. And that's a perfect piggyback off of acid mantle, because when your acid mantle is compromised, you will have sensitized and compromised skin. So some of my people that are sensitive or experiencing sensitivity, it's not because you're actually sensitive, it's because you have sensitized your skin. The surface of the skin and the acid mantle is a naturally acidic environment, and that is also a defense mechanism. So sometimes when you use a lot of products or soap that are high in alkalinity, it does take the skin away from its natural favorable condition, which is slightly acidic. So basically, the best overall health for your skin is going to be to keep the natural hydrolipidic balance, hydro being the water element, lipidic being the oil element. So the skin does need to maintain a certain level of oil. For my people that are oily, your job is not to deplete your oil, your job is to balance your oil, because the body does need both things for balance and healthy production in the skin. Also, we know that oil makes up our acid mantle, so you know that it's definitely an intricate component to the skin. As we move on to number 9, I want to definitely talk about masks that have exfoliating properties. I think this is important because this is a sure way to over exfoliate. Because if I do my exfoliation and then I follow up with a mask with exfoliating properties, that could definitely be too much exfoliation. So things like clay, charcoal masks, they have exfoliating properties on a molecular level. So they're great for the skin. You just want to make sure that you're not overusing them. Also, vitamin A has exfoliating properties, and any kind of enzymatic mask. Remember, we talked about enzymes, that they naturally dissolve the desquamations, but if you overdo it, you may be sloughing off too many skin cells. For number 10, I just want to remind you that overexfoliation can lead to hyperpigmentation. Overexfoliation can lead to hyperpigmentation. The reason for that is, one of the reasons is it compromises our acid mantle. It is also too much abrasion, too much friction. The cells like to be bathed, they like to be lubricated. So too much exfoliation can actually make your skin darker. So you want to be careful with that, because the very same steps and products you're using to lighten your skin can also be actually making it darker. You want to make sure you have enough time in between steps and products to allow your skin to catch up to its natural balance. The most important thing I want you to walk away with today is that the skin is very intricately designed. It is our largest organ and it is very intelligent. The skin is thrown off its balance through us, through disease, disorder, intrinsic factors, extrinsic factors, and also products and lifestyle choices. Our goal is to assist the skin with exfoliation. Below, I'm going to definitely leave a link for you to purchase enzymes and other types of exfoliations. You can contact us at Skinformation for skin consultations. For the professional, we're available for training and certifications. Also, I'll be sure to list links for the professional to sign up for continuing education and also professional exfoliation training. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much and have a great one.